Hello, this is my new to me Canada KC1022ML, sold by Grizzly as the G0506 and probably by half a dozen other manufacturers. Any of you who are familiar with this lathe or any lathe will realize that it doesn't come from the factory like this. I actually just purchased this, and it has about 10 hours of use on it. It still has all of the shipping grease. Anytime you purchase a lathe, especially a Chinese lathe, it's going to come probably not assembled 100% properly and not adjusted properly, and it's going to be covered in shipping grease, shipping goo. And it's a good idea to take it apart and go through everything and make sure everything's set up properly and clean. I took mine apart to make it easier to move around and load up on this tray. Don't tip. Don't tip. We'll leave that attached until I get the bolts in. And now I'm going to put it back together and make sure that everything's assembled properly. So we'll put the motor on first. Almost everything is held on with Allen screws, which I like, or whatever you call these around the world. I call them Allen keys, so Allen screws. So in the back here we just have these studs that screw in. Put my finger behind here and make sure I don't thread them too far, because these holes do go right through. If I remember correctly, these little spacers go on between the motor and the casting. It's quite a light motor. I'm pretty sure it's a aluminum housing. That goes on there like that. We got one on, we don't have to worry about falling. I'm going to leave it loose so that I can align it properly. It's really a good dexterity training to get these nuts on the bottom side here. The motor is on, but we will leave it loose for now. And now I think we will install the gearbox. The gearbox is held in with these 4 Allen screws, or Allen bolts, and then there's 2 down on the far end on the lead screw support, right there. So we'll get these started first. This might be a bit tricky because it's kind of heavy. started, so the hardest part is done. Before I tighten these down, I'm going to install the lead screw support and make sure that everything's lined up. That way I don't have any unneeded stress on the lead screw. To install the lead screw support, there are two Allen head bolts, 5mm heads. We'll put these in and tighten them down. This will have to come back off in order to install the carriage assembly. So we'll snug these down. I won't tighten this nut on the end because it's going to have to come back off anyway. See if I remember how any of this goes. That goes on there just like that. It's a little tricky to figure out how these things are installed, but once you get it figured out, they're quite nice to use. They want this plate to be grounded for safety. Now that we have all the switches in, we can reattach this pretty little cover to the front and hope that everything lines back up. I ended up taking the faceplate back off so that I could loosen these screws and align the gearbox. When you tighten up the screws, you want to make sure that the lead screw is engaged. I have to say I'm not terribly impressed with the coating that they use, or the ink, paint, whatever that they use on their labeling. So at some point in the near future I may see if I can get a clear paint or some sort of clear coating that will go over this without negatively affecting it, causing it to peel off. There we have it, the beauty cover with all of the numbers and doohickeys and information is now installed, as well as the gearbox.